Hi, I'm Sapreet Kaur.
And I'm Ashneet Kaur.
And welcome to a new episode of Do Khyal.
To our new listeners, Do Khyal is a podcast where we have discussions, share our thoughts and opinions without any judgment.
अपना जेह्ड़ा अज्ज दा episode it's about self-preservation or selfishness.
We aim to explore the shift between generations when it comes to helping out each other. अपने Punjabi culture ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ parents and grandparents, they always say yes to helping one of their relatives, someone from the wider community, most of the time even at their own expense.
ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ generation we're a lot more cautious. We set boundaries a lot more easily. Now, by this being said, we're not trying to blame one generation or praise another.
We're trying to understand what changed, what we have lost, and what we have gained along the way.
Well, Ashneet, ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ, if you look at our parents, ਆਪਣੀ grandparents ਦੀ generation ਜਿਹੜੀ, they're a lot more easily say yes to anything and everything when it comes to helping out others. ਝੱਟ ਦੇਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਇਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਕੰਮ.
Yeah, I think we see that within our families as well. Taking my family as an example, my mama ji, ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਿੰਡ ਚੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਣ ਪਛਾਣ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਾੜਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ they ask for help, their immediate response is always to say yes. ਕਦੇ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ are we in a position to help out, ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ financial burden ਆਊਗੀ ਜਾਂ there's a myriad of other things you think before saying yes, but their immediate response has always been ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ help out ਕਰਨੀ ਆ. ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਘਰੇ ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰਕੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ they be like ਹਾਂ ਮਾਮਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਮਨਾ ਕਰਨਾ. At this point they don't even ask, they're like yeah ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਮਨਾ ਕਰਨਾ, they just take stuff. And because they have the ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਦਿਲ ਆ, they have passed those values down to us as well.
Yeah, and we see this a lot more commonly in our community as well. For example, immigration. It's very beautiful seeing overseas we apa ke eh values carry ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਾ, and we go out of the way to help anyone ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਗਾ. And though we don't look at how it will cost us as individuals, whether it be our families or us individually, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੀ neglect ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ.
I think it's the sense of community as well. We carry those values with us when we moved overseas.
Yeah.
And those values, they come from our religion, our culture.
Very strongly.
Because it's so strongly deep-rooted in the principles of selflessness, prioritizing other people over our own.
Yeah. And it's the most common and most beautiful thing is the concept of langar that we have. ਆਪਾਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. That's rooted in our concept of selflessness, and we go out of the way to help others.
Yeah, it started with the religion, and that's how our communities come this far. Our community as a whole, we've been through so much. Starting with
look at history. Yeah.
Starting with 47 the partition ho gayi, 84 the genocide ho gaya, most recently apna farmers protest. The only reason we survive is because we stick together. We help each other out. We don't think how this is going to cost us.
ਆਪਾਂ individually ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੀ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਊਗਾ. Community needs it, we're there.
We always prioritize our own community over our own self, because those are the values that we have been taught as a culture, as a religion, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's very beautiful, and though there are downsides of everything, pros and cons sare ka sinal honde a.
Yeah, if you're too generous, people take advantage of you, and obviously if you don't help out enough, you're selfish.
And it's where we draw the line that we're trying to figure out here, even through this episode as well. And as we've shifted overseas to Western societies, thoda ja into an individualistic mall, whereas our culture back there is a lot more collective. Naal chalde hain. We collectively strive as a community. Oh cheezaं thodiyan jiyan blur ho gayiyan.
That's why our generation is kind of struggling with setting boundaries and helping each other out as well. Because we moved to a culture which is so individualistic, where we see around Western culture people are for themselves. There is a sense of community, but not as much as we had back home. And we have those values in home. ਘਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ that we need to help each other out, we need to stick together as a community. Whereas ਬਾਹਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ, well obviously we get influenced by Western culture as well, and our generation is in a position to make that choice. Do we follow the values from back home, or do we follow the values we're raised upon?
And it's not easy as well trying to figure out be balance kiya kithe where we draw the line, kyunki jadon bahar janne a mahol ho raha ਜਦੋਂ ਘਰੇ ਹੁੰਨੇ ਆ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ but the other thing is this is very evident from the way of living as well when it comes to being at home ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਐਂ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਰਹੋ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਰਹੋ whereas even if we look at the culture here it's about living separately living on your own terms on how you want to live and
I think that's one of the reason our generation is thinking more about self-preservation, setting those boundaries, because immediately if someone comes asking us for help in the same way they did from our parents or our grandparents, I don't think our immediate response would be yes.
Yeah,
We'll think, are we in a position to actually help out in the same way they need that help?
Yeah.
And I think that comes from, in a way, that
sorry for cutting you off. We've seen our parents face the cost of making those sacrifices, and we've seen them put in the hours, put in the time, and the stress it has caused them behind the scenes. ਜਿਹਨੂੰ help ਕਰਨੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖ ਰਿਹਾਗਾ, and as a result, we think a lot more before making the decision of saying yes.
We've seen them taken advantage of, them getting burnt out, them facing that financial burden of
being exploited
even. I think that's something everyone can relate to. Our parents, they try helping out so many people in so many ways, and I don't want to say it's ahsan faramoshi, but to some extent it does come to that as well. Because if they say yes 40 million times, they help out everyone, but the one time they try to set those boundaries, people just forget all the other times they've helped someone out.
Sara kuch bol jange. They'll remember the one time they said no, and they'll take that along with them the whole lives.
And because our generation has seen all of this, now we're so cautious. We think so harder and so longer before actually saying yes as well.
But that's the thing. Even when we do say no, it's not that we feel good that we're saying no, because we have this sense of guilt engraved in us because of those values and because of the way we're brought up. Oh, I'm being selfish by saying no.
See, that's something I always struggle with, saying no, even though I know I'm not in a position to help out. If my mom's already committed to be like, oh, someone comes to mommy asking for help and she says yes, well, my daughter can help you with that, and maybe I have work, maybe I have exams to study for, I'm not in a position to help out, but because my mother said yes, I have to do it. And I can't say no because that would reflect badly upon her, and I would feel guilty for saying no as well. So that's something I always struggle with. So out of that guilt, out of that obligation, I always have to say yes.
And that's the thing, when our parents have signed up and already said yes, ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹਟਦੇ ਹਾਂ, it's ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਬੇਇੱਜ਼ਤੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, and we don't want to let that happen as well. So it's just like, ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਨਾ ਕਰਤੀ, but at the end of the day you end up performing that task as well.
We're kind of just finding a balance in setting those boundaries, in helping out our community people, our relatives, everyone we know, but also prioritizing ourselves. We're trying to find that balance.
And ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤ ਹੈ. It's just simply a way that we have been brought up and the way of living we've been through.
But do you think by setting those boundaries, are we protecting ourselves or just opting out?
And we ask you, if we do continue down this way, are we losing a bit of our culture, our identity that is strongly rooted in the principles of selflessness?
Do give us our perspective. Thank you so much for listening.